A small plane has crashed into a residential area in California, causing fatalities. Here's what you need to know. At least 2 people died when a private twin-engine C340 Cessna plane crashed in Southern California on Monday afternoon, according to CNN. The plane came down in the city of Santee in San Diego County at about 12:14 p.m., according to the Federal Aviation Administration, with NBC7 San Diego explaining that the pilot had failed in an attempt to land in a nearby field after some sort of issue. As the plane went down toward the intersection of Greencastle and Jeremy streets, witnesses said its wing made contact with a UPS truck that was nearing a stop sign, which killed its driver. The plane's fuselage then slid toward 2 homes and exploded, with Santee Fire Department Battalion Chief Justin Matsushita telling reporters 2 or 3 other houses had also sustained damage, according to Fox 5 San Diego. 2 residents were rescued by a group of neighbors. Fox 5 San Diego reports that this is the 3rd private plane to crash in the city within the last 6 years, but there is some evidence this is part of an even wider phenomena. According to a USA Today investigation, almost 45,000 people have been killed over the past 5 decades in private planes and helicopters, which is almost 9 times the number to have died in airline crashes. In 2014, for instance, 1 person was killed and another injured after another small private plane crash landed in a San Diego parking lot. The plane, a single-engine Mooney M20, was carrying a pilot, a 52-year-old woman, and an 80-year-old female passenger. While attempting to make a landing at Montgomery Field Airport, that aircraft bounced and continued westbound. The plane next clipped the top of a department store and knocked down a light fixture before crashing into the parking lot of a busy shopping center. Similarly, in 2015, 3 people aboard a small plane were killed when a Beechcraft BE-36 bound for Norwood Memorial Airport crashed into a family home in Plainville, Massachusetts. The pilot reportedly told an air traffic controller that he was experiencing engine failure a few minutes before the plane crashed into the top rear end of the house. A family of 4 escaped from the building unharmed, but Massachusetts State Police said the 2 adults and a child on board the plane were killed. In 2014, USA Today reported that federal investigators attributed these kinds of private crashes to pilot errors 86% of the time. However, there were repeated instances in which crashes, deaths, and injuries were caused by defective parts and dangerous designs, which cast doubt on the government's official rulings. USA Today's investigation claimed at the time to reveal the inner workings of an industry hit so hard by legal claims that it sought and won liability protection from Congress. That would likely be no consolation to Domingo Galicia, who was in his trailer with his daughter at the Marmac Colony Club mobile home at Lake Worth, Florida, before a small plane crashed into it in 2015. He told CBS Miami he stepped outside his home just before the plane went down. But his daughter, 21-year-old Banny Galicia, was inside the trailer when the plane landed on top of it, and Galicia told local media she was killed. 2 mobile homes, including Galicia's, caught fire after the crash. The trailer park's management said 3 bodies were pulled from the wreckage. The causes of these crashes are reported on far less often than the crashes themselves, but in the cases of another crash in 2015, which killed 2 first-year college students in Madison County, New York, engine problems were immediately identified as the source of the problem. The 2 19-year-old Colgate University students rented a single-engine Cessna plane from Hamilton Municipal Airport. The plane reportedly encountered engine problems shortly after takeoff. The pair sent a distress signal before the plane crashed into a wooded area in the town of Eaton, and both students died at the scene. Sometimes these things are simply crazy accidents, like in 2014 when a single-engine Cirrus SR-22 plane was traveling from Cleveland, Tennessee to Frederick, Maryland, and it collided with a Robinson R-44 helicopter in mid-air near the Frederick Municipal Airport. The airplane deployed a parachute that helped it to descend, while the helicopter broke into pieces after hitting the ground, killing the 3 occupants.
A small plane crashed into a house in South Lake Tahoe, California on Saturday. It was not yet clear how many people were injured in the crash. A Beech 35 Bonanza plane with 2 people on board took off from Lake Tahoe Airport at around 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. It crashed into a house shortly after takeoff. 2 people were reportedly inside the house. The house caught fire after the crash. Authorities said no one inside the house was injured. The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board will investigate the crash.
4 people were killed and at least 5 more injured after a small aircraft crashed into a building near a Kansas airport on Thursday morning. A twin-engine Beechcraft King Air plane took off from Mid-Continental Airport shortly before 10 a.m. One of the aircraft's engines lost power mid-flight, prompting the plane to return to the runway. As the plane made its descent, it crashed into a flight safety building. More than 100 people were inside the building at the time of the crash. A huge fire ensued following the collision, engulfing the building in flames and clouding the surrounding area in plumes of dark smoke. Authorities believe only the pilot was inside the plane at the time of the incident. Airport operation remained normal and flights were not disrupted by the crash.
A man and a woman died on Sunday, August the 18th, when their light aircraft crashed into a field near a Kansas City airport. The Moody single-engine aircraft took off from Wheeler Downtown Airport around 3 p.m. On board were a man and a woman. Just after takeoff, the pilot reported engine trouble to air traffic control. Witnesses saw the plane turn back towards the runway in an apparent attempt to land. The aircraft went into a dive and crashed, but its fuselage remained intact. Both the pilot and passenger were found dead at the scene. Witnesses reported hearing the plane's engine sputter shortly after takeoff. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the disaster. The names of the dead have not yet been released.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.